Hello everyone, Ace here, and today let's talk more about short Fat Otaku, aka Dev, who has finally made a stunning discovery. You see, Dev has finally uncovered the truth. That truth being that I oppose him. You know, after he declared me to be his enemy, and after he decided to silence me and censor me off of his free speech platform, mere minutes after saying that he would entertain all ideas on said platform, specifically his YouTube channel.
But yeah, basically, like, there's definitely a segment in every community that wants a safe space. And I don't mind putting that safe space up in, like, a private Discord or something, but it's not going to be the channel itself. It's not going to be the videos. It's not going to be the streams. We will entertain all ideas here, and that's how it is.
A few moments later.
Oh, a guy who I banned gave me $10. Thanks for the free $10, buddy, but I'm banning you here too.
And also after stating that he supports state-sponsored violence against his political opponents. It really is a big mystery as to why I oppose Dev. To utilize the terminology that Dev so often likes to use when he says, quote, "we must oppose them." But I believe a little bit more context is required, so let's hear now from the latest weekly seethe where Dev made this claim. While I could just record the clip myself, I'm going to be a little bit lazy and utilize the resources of Kiwifarms, which is to say here's the Kiwifarms cut of the segment in question.
You are being no better than a leftoid purging his fan base because you disagree with their takes. No, I am being better than them. Because, for example, I disagree with that take and you're not getting purged. Listen, you can have people who love you, obviously, and people who, like, suck up to you. Though having too many of those people can also be bad for you for a different reason. You can have people who criticize you because they want you to get better. You can have people who say, like, you're fucking stupid, like, this is dumb, what are you doing? Oh, that's all fine, all right? But the people who actively want you to fail, you can't have those people around. They have to go. Those people simply have to go. It's as simple as that. Like, yeah, free speech, I get it. Yeah, free expression. Yeah, you should be open to good faith criticism. Yeah. The people who come in and they say, you know what, my job here is to disrupt. It is to make sure that you can't do what you want to do. It is to limit you. It is to limit your growth. It is to attack you. It is to basically get you to quit. And by the way, I do now have evidence that there is actually a large group of people. Thank you for the leakers who handed me this. But there's actually a large group of people, including Ace, by the way, who explicitly do what they do because they want me to stop YouTubing. Like, explicitly. I have that on paper now. Like, the evidence is now in. Those people you can't tolerate. It's just as simple as that. You cannot tolerate those people. There's a difference between, hey, I think you're retarded. Hey, I think you made a mistake here. Hey, change this. Hey, I don't like how this went. And then, like, there's, like, good faith criticism. And then there's people who are grumbling because they think you fucked up and you're disappointed or whatever. And then beyond that, there's people who just want to destroy you. And those people you just cannot tolerate in a community. Right? Like, I've tried to tolerate them for years, and it ruined me more than my current fucking downfall arc is ruining me, frankly.
So yes, Dev is claiming that I am part of a group trying to take him down, and is claiming that he has this on paper now. And I have had people ask me what exactly he's referring to, so let me try to provide my best guess as to what exactly he's referring to. The first option is that it could be in reference to an announced compilation project that was announced by one of my fellow Dev detractors, who basically wanted to get all the major voices that are anti-Dev to make one singular mega video that's critical of him, talking about all the shady things he's done. Admittedly, I was interested in the project and did reach out to the person that announced it. The problem is that this was over a year ago, and I know for a fact that Dev knew about it back then as well. It wasn't exactly a secret at the time. Like I said, this was a publicly announced plan by the person that dreamed it up. And like I said, all it was going to be was a compilation video from various people that do not like Dev. And also, as I've mentioned, I know for a fact that Dev knew about that back when it was still still a new thing because he himself covered it in previous weekly seeths. So I don't think it's that. The other big guess is that Dev has finally found out that I consider myself to be openly at war with Dev, something that I've only stated multiple times in the past, including for the record in the most popular video that I have ever uploaded on Dev, period. Which goes to show that Dev is a low-key admitting that he hasn't actually bothered to sit down and watch the videos that I've made that are critical of him. Not all the way through anyways, which is a damning confession on his part, what with him claiming to have spent several months now working on a supposed response video in reaction to those criticisms. You know, the criticisms in the videos that he hasn't sat down and watched properly, even though again he has spent several months supposedly doing a response video towards. Here's the relevant part of that particular video of mine just to show where I made the point that yes, I do in fact consider myself to be at war with Dev. Considering Dev's behavior and the propensity that I have had for calling him out on his constant BS, it should come as no surprise that he has decided to of course block me, apparently thinking that this would bring an end to the whole situation. What Dev fails to realize is that I'm past the point of reconciliation here. I'm not interested in making peace with Dev. He committed acts of treachery against me. He openly declared me an enemy. He has repeatedly tried to silence me. And above all, he believes that people like me should suffer state-sponsored violence in the name of his supposedly enlightened centrist liberalism. Instead, under these conditions, I believe that war is the far better answer. Not a war of violence, mind you, but certainly a war of words. And it is a war that I have been extremely successful in waging. Dev's channel has been stagnant in terms of growth for months now. His viewership has gone into the gutter. He has slowly been turning on the rest of his friends as well, and he can't even be relied upon to release videos weekly, much less daily. His recent actions and his recent performance have not discouraged me. They have emboldened me. My position is that I will continue to wage war against Dev in the manner that I have so far. And with the way things stand, it does appear such methods will result in victory. So yeah, as you can see, the claim that I am anti-Dev and do not want him to succeed, that's true. But of course, he declared me to be an enemy. He committed hostile acts against me, such as censorship. And he has also announced that he supports state-sponsored violence against those he politically disagrees with, like me. So of course I am against the idea of him being successful. He has given me every justification possible to be against him, to oppose him, to want him to fail. At this point, as extreme as he's becoming, I would even take up the position that he presents an actual legitimate threat. I'm honestly baffled that it took him this long to confirm that. I haven't exactly been subtle about it, nor have I tried to deny it or anything like that. Now you could argue that I am a biased source of information at that point, what with me having a vested interest in seeing Dev fail, but the problem that Dev faces in that situation is that me being biased against him doesn't magically make all of the proof that I can and do constantly provide go away. There is a reason why I go out of my way to provide as much context as possible whenever I criticize Dev, and why several of my videos are just complete entire threads of the back and forth that Dev has had with other people, or clips that are several minutes long of unedited footage of Dev talking during live streams. It's because extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. I need to be as clear-cut and damning with the evidence as possible when it comes to the criticisms that I make of Dev. And by damning, I mean as irrefutable as possible. Speaking of which, allow me to provide another thread that serves as an excellent example of why I have chosen to oppose Dev. Because the truth is, I knew where Dev was going to go long in advance, since at least late 2023, and was actively trying to steer him away at the time from that particular cliff he was driving towards. Let's talk about how Dev has openly embraced the whole friend-enemy distinction himself. You know, despite his recent condemnation towards anyone that engages in such behavior. On August the 31st of 2023, Carl Benjamin, aka Sargon of Akkad, tweeted out, quote, "The problem that liberals have is that they can't allow others the freedom to not be like them." To which Dev responded with a quote tweet on September the 1st of 2023 stating, quote, "This is a criticism of of everybody. Liberals don't tolerate anti-liberalism. Communists don't tolerate anti-communism. Fascists don't tolerate anti-fascism. Islamists don't tolerate anti-Islamism, etc., etc. To which Sargon of Akkad responded with his own quote tweet stating, quote, "No, it's not, Dev. You, a liberal, project that onto others. Remember your NATO meme about gay marriage being non-negotiable? There is no live and let live, while many others will." Dev responds with his own quote tweet stating, quote, "No, Sargon, this does in fact apply to you. You, with your Sargon politics, are against anything anti-Sargonism. This is simple friend-enemy stuff." I responded with, quote, "No, he isn't against anything anti-Sargonism, Dev," implying that he can't be on cordial or even friendly terms with people he disagrees with and instead must view them as enemies, suggests you are in a purity spiral. Dev replies with, quote, "That's not what I'm saying. I'm using friend-enemy in the political sense, not just in terms of being pals." I reply with, quote, "Even in a political sense, that isn't actually the case. For a start, not all ideologies are inherently expansionist. Why should libertarians care about the fact that Bhutan is still a monarchy, for example? They can be monarchists over there and we can be libertarians over here." And that was the point that particular conversation with Dev ended. But there is a lesson to be learned here. It's the fact that Dev openly embraces the concept of the friend-enemy distinction, which is to say that he openly embraces tribalism in a political sense. Or at the very bare minimum, he was open about being such in late 2023. So that's the first thing to note here. The second thing, though, is the consequence of him being a tribalist and believing firmly in the friend-enemy distinction. Because the inevitable consequence of that is that your ideology is going to be inherently imperialistic. You are going to enforce your values upon everyone else because you fundamentally see everyone else as political enemies to be subjugated. This was essentially Dev admitting that there would come a time that he would try to enforce anti-acism onto me, that I would be expected to change my way of thinking to suit him. Now, I'm under no obligation to care about what another person thinks politically speaking, even if said politics just so happen to be critical of me, until they announce their intentions to do that sort of thing, to force their way of thinking onto me. At that point, I am going to start to oppose that, peacefully if possible, but with war if absolutely necessary. So with all of that in mind, is it any wonder why my reaction has been the way it is with regards to Dev? Why, after he has declared me an enemy, treated me as an enemy, and announced his support of state-sponsored violence against people like me, how all of those things have only gone to further prove to me how correct I was in my assessments, even back in late 2023. And my response originally was to try to peacefully resolve the matter and try to talk Dev out of this nonsense. We all know how that went. But yes, after trying to peacefully resolve the matter and facing treachery for my efforts, yes, I do in fact oppose Dev, and yes, I do in fact want him to fail. I would be crazy not to. And again, I'm only surprised it took him this long to discover that.